Our budget recommendations still maintain a commitment to economic growth and education. Now, one of the things we did in this budget, different than any previous budget, we took a look at the current forecast, which was made last October. A lot has happened since October. The stock market is down dramatically. The nation's financial situation has deteriorated very significantly. And in the forecast that was made last October, fiscal year 10 revenues, the upcoming fiscal year, were projected at $49 million. That is no longer realistic. So my budget envisioned zero revenue growth in fiscal year 10. None of us wish that were the case, but that's more realistic. We must prepare the state for a slowing economy. State government, local governments, we're all going to have to tighten our belts, just like Nebraska families and businesses are doing. But even within that context, with limited financial resources, we can still follow four principles that have been and are crucial to our economic success. First, we must ensure that there will be no tax increases. This would be the wrong time to increase taxes. And even though we've made progress in lowering taxes, I think we all recognize Nebraska is still a high tax state. Nebraskans want tax relief. This budget continues to fund the $230 million property tax credit program that we established 2 years ago. The failure to fund this program would be a property tax increase on every homeowner in Nebraska. In an economic downturn, increasing property taxes on middle-class families, seniors living on fixed incomes, small businesses, and farmers and ranchers is unacceptable. Now, the second principle is we must place a special priority on funding our children's education. My budget invests an additional $100 million in state aid education, increases funding for special education by $16.8 million, provides an additional $25.6 million to the University of Nebraska, and gives it $4 million approximately to state and community colleges. And I want to make a point here on education, how important it is to us. 85% of the new spending in this budget will be for investments in the education of our children. Our kids are our most precious resource, and we want to continue to fund education to the best of our ability. Third principle, we must continue funding programs for vulnerable children and families. Medical assistance for seniors and the disabled, and public assistance for disadvantaged children and families are very valuable programs. The S-CHIP program provides health insurance for needy children. The care and treatment for the developmentally disabled and those with mental illness or substance abuse issues requires our special attention. And providing for our veterans living in the state's 4 veterans homes, including the one in Grand Island, is absolutely essential. In the coming biennium, Health and Human Services will spend more than $1.2 billion annually for these critical programs. Now, there's been a lot of discussion here in the last couple of months surrounding the issue of families in need regarding additional behavioral health services and help navigating the system. So today, at our request, Senator Gay and Senator Howard introduced a bill that addresses many of the needs that we witnessed over the summer. Our three-pronged approach provides families seeking assistance with difficult children and teens direct access to skilled professional help and support. The proposal will create a 24/7 hotline staffed by mental health professionals for parents and guardians throughout the state. It also includes a peer program that will connect parents whose children are in need of services with parents who have experience in navigating the behavioral health system. Finally, the proposal will create a new post-adoption and post-guardianship case management system that will provide transition and continuity for families. And I just want to make a point on this particular part of the proposal. Previously, when you finished an adoption or a guardianship, case management services ended. We now want to continue that transition. Be on a voluntary basis. If a family doesn't want to do it, they don't have to. But a lot of families have told us, geez, we just adopted a kid. We're going through this situation. We don't know what to do. Well, we're going to continue that with this comprehensive approach. The fourth and final principle is we must maintain a prudent cash reserve, a strong cash reserve, despite the ever-present pressure to increase spending. You'll see in our budget, we identify that the state has some contingent liabilities that total about $200 million that we've made mention of, and we earmark it in the cash reserve fund status. And what I'm talking about here is potential water litigation, the possible loss of federal funding of the Beatrice State Developmental Center, and teacher and state employee pension losses due to a declining stock market. The final element of my budget recommendations includes using $40 million annually over the next 2 years from the cash reserve fund. I tried to remind the legislature today, and all of us need to be aware of this, yes, the cash reserve is our rainy day fund, but we need to be mindful that it is only beginning to rain. This process could go on for several years. At the end of fiscal year 2011, we anticipate we would still have a strong cash reserve of approximately $300 million. And that's critical because you need a strong cash reserve in order to prevent any future tax increases. So I tried to share with them today. We made tough budget decisions 2 years ago that have put us in this position to weather the coming fiscal storm. Now we need to make difficult but wise decisions that will position our state to emerge stronger when the national economy improves. This budget is really about Nebraska's future. And even in difficult economic times, we can position Nebraska for future growth. As I try to tell everybody, and we're all in this together, this is another opportunity for us to continue to promote Nebraska as a great place to live, to work, and to raise a family. So I just want to make the point, and then I'll take your questions. We're trying to address the short-term financial challenge that we're in, make sure we balance the budget, come out of that, so that long-term we're positioned to accelerate our growth again as we continue to move forward. We've made very good progress the last 4 years in creating more and more jobs that are keeping our young people here. I don't want to lose that momentum. I've already begun to see other states who are raising taxes, making some budget decisions I wouldn't agree with in terms of shutting off things they're doing in terms of economic development and education that are going to hurt them long term. We're not trying to do that, and yet it is going to be shared sacrifice. We're all in this together. If I had my druthers, and I'm sure the legislature would tell you this too, we wish it were better economic times, that we could give more money to the entities that we support, but this reflects the challenges we face.